Let's go. It is episode 616 Soul Not For Sale podcast. We got Russell Brand on deck. If you have not heard what's happened with Russell Brand, there has been some allegations made towards Russell Brand, and he made a video about it, and you could tell in that video he is frazzled. He is feeling attacked, and he's just trying to assure everybody that the allegations are not true and everything was consensual. And I just want to make sure that's out there. He has said that these relationships were all consensual. Every party involved agreed. So after he made this statement, you saw a lot of media companies, a lot of media outlets just going on the Mockingbird-like attack. Everyone is saying the same thing. You go and search his name, it's just the same headline, same headline, same headline, same headline. And we've seen this before. We've seen this with Joe Rogan. We've seen this with Jordan Peterson. When Ben Shapiro first got on the scene, you're seeing it with him. You'll see it from time to time with Candace Owens. You'll see it with time to time with anybody who tends to push against the narrative. And Russell Brand has been the biggest pusher against the narrative, probably only second to Tucker Carlson, in my view. I mean, Joe Rogan does what he does, but his conversations are very wide, where Russell Brand is really focused on, the powers that be and exposing them, and the mainstream media and exposing them and bringing notes to the table, receipts to the table, facts to the table. It's incredible what he does when he's on these videos. But there has been a development that has impacted him greatly. But as I speak about this in this video, I'm going to say it's not as greatly as people think. It's big, but he can still survive. And I'm also going to give a little bit of insight of what I think he should do. I've heard other online personalities talk about this, and there is something that I feel like I wish that he would do. Before I get into all that, I got to bring you to the store. This is IamCoachColin.com. First up, we got the certified pure blood shirt for those of you that are standing tall against being tainted, against being well, you know what I mean. Okay, the thing that you don't want to get. This is your certificate of achievement for not getting that thing. I didn't get the thing either, and I feel great. I don't know about you. And we also have the Public Enemy #1 shirt. For those of you that don't know, Google the World Economic Forum. Please Google its founder. You'll understand quickly why this gentleman is Public Enemy #1. And also we have the bold statement that I love to make every single day in front of the powers that be. Soul not for sale. It is a battle between good and evil. Your soul is the thing they want. I'm even wearing the Public Enemy #1 shirt. You can get all of that at IamCoachColin.com. And if you want 10% off of anything you just saw and more, because there's much more on the site, all you have to do is put in the discount code IamCoachColin. That's all capital letters. That's all one word, and there's one L in the name Colin. That gets you 10% off. No questions asked. Now let's jump into this. So the thing that's happened most recently is that YouTube has suspended Russell Brand's account, and more so, it has suspended the revenue. So the account is still there. We can still see the account, but Russell Brand cannot make money from this account anymore. So basically, it's just there. And you know what the interesting thing that comes to mind right away is, because they do this to many of my videos, and it was brought to my attention by one of you amazing people in the comment section, that they still show ads on it. They'll be like, you know what? Since you made this video and we don't like it, we're not going to give you any money, or we're going to limit your money dramatically. But they still will put ads on it and make the same amount of money that they make from any video. So I find that very interesting. I wonder if they're doing that to Brand as well. I would love to hear from you guys if you guys have seen anything like that. But they have suspended his account. It's Russell Brand here, rocking one of the many hats. I have this same hat. He's the only gentleman that wears hats like me, or I wear hats like him. But also the YouTube boss. It says YouTube boss here. The head of Middle East, Africa, and Europe speaks on Russell Brand and what's actually gone on. The head of YouTube, because YouTube has different branches, right? So the people who do America are not the same people who do Europe, Middle East, and Africa. It says YouTube's boss, European boss, Pedro Pina, has said Russell Brand won't be silenced after the streaming service demonetized his channel amid sexual assault allegations. And then he goes here. He says the head says Brand will no longer be able to make a living from the service, but he will not be censored. Now, that's kind of true. It's true if the channel's still there and we can still click on the videos. He's not particularly being censored, but I mean, we all know when we read between the lines of this, as we see article after article all stating the same thing, that he is being censored to an extent. I mean, taking away someone's livelihood, it's like it's like saying it's a dead winter, minus 40, and someone kicks you outside into the snow with no clothes, no coat, and they're like, well, I'm not going to do anything to you, but you have to stay out there. It's like, you know what you're essentially doing to that person. They're going to freeze to death, right? So they are censoring him in a way. And what it really is doing, in my opinion, when they say it's not censoring him, what it's doing is you can't make a livelihood, okay? You can't make any money. But if you decide that you're going to acknowledge all of this and you're going to change your behavior, wink, wink, well, then maybe we'll let you start making a living again. So it's not them censoring him, but it's almost a request for him to self-censor in a very big way. And it would have to be an admission of guilt, and then it would have to be a self-censoring. It's almost like a little buck-breaking situation. They're kind of smacking him on the wrist a little bit, but I mean, more so like a punch in the face almost. Again, YouTube suspends Brand for making any money. Now Candace Owen weighs in on this whole thing. I'm struggling to comprehend how YouTube, and she ats YouTube because Candace Owen is a lady through and through, but she has balls. How YouTube can completely demonetize someone based on allegations when there are actual drug dealers and convicts that currently have YouTube channels. That is so true. There is a whole host of people that are way worse than Russell Brand on there. I mean, one of them's Cardi B. I mean, let's be real. Cardi B has admitted to drugging men, giving them drugs that make them unconscious, and robbing them. She's admitted this. And it happened the same length of time ago as Russell Brand's allegations as well. But she's fine to make millions of dollars on YouTube every time she releases a music video. Like, you gotta kind of make it make sense, Another amazing creator on Twitter, End Wokeness. If you do not follow that channel, please do, at End Wokeness. YouTube demonetized Russell Brand upon unproven sexual assault allegations. How many of Jeffrey Epstein's Hollywood clients did YouTube suspend? So true. How about Bill Clinton, a man who visited the island? I didn't even realize. Oh, geez. Yeah. But you know what he's trying to say. How many of these people have gotten silence, have gotten this type of treatment? Oh, this woman even brings up Cardi B herself. Yeah, exactly. Admittedly drugging and robbing. Her YouTube is pretty fine and being monetized. Russell Brand has been accused of sexual assault, and YouTube has stopped his monetization. The agenda is crystal clear. More people weigh in. Charlie Kirk. If you don't know him, please check his stuff out. If you're on Twitter, you got to be following this guy. Not only has Russell Brand been convicted of no crime, he hasn't even been charged with a crime. Yet YouTube just unilaterally demonetized his channel with more than 6 million subscribers, and multiple press outlets are colluding in a takedown operation. Pretty much, Russell Brand isn't being held accountable. He's being taken out for speaking against the corrupt media and the biomedical pharmaceutical state. That is what it seems like, because it kind of happened all at once. A lot of people who are in Britain were saying the very next day, like if this was this organic thing, The very next day, every single newspaper that you saw, all was covered with Russell Brand, which, is a little odd. You would think if this was like very organic from this documentary or this episode of Dispatches, if this was all very organic, that episode would have came out. Then people would have been writing a story about it. Then you would have saw outlet, couple people writing about it. But instead, it comes out the next day. Everything is covering Russell Brand. Everything. And it's just talking about, they're using their allegedlys and their accused and everything, but we all know what someone looks like when they're all over newspapers with one mockingbird-like statement being said over and over and over again. You know what goes into the public's mind when you see that time and time again. But I mean, this episode's more about YouTube just taking that step. I think this is a huge Jeremy Boring. He is a co-founder of the Daily Wire. This is the best statement, I think, so far. Terrible decision, terrible precedent. Social media platforms should not act as extra legal arbiters of guilt and innocence. That is so true. That is perfectly said. I get it. We're going to get more into it right now because there's a whole host of things that they're saying. They're saying that they have a guideline, a certain guideline that's making it so they can do this because he did violate this guideline. And it's a guideline of how you act off the platform, which in my opinion is absolutely wild. Absolutely wild, because we just bring Cardi B right into the conversation again. I mean, what do you want to say? She's a performer? What do you want to do? I mean, Jay-Z talks avidly about being an ex-dealer. Most rappers do. And they talk about worse things. If we were to actually take the lyrics down and dissect them, they're talking about dealing. They're talking about assaults. They're talking about the things they've done to women. They're talking about things they've done to people who they consider enemies. But all of them are fine to do that. It's very interesting. I just want to show you here. This is Brand's channel. It is still up and running. It still has a link to Rumble. Rumble has decided to stand firm on not taking Russell down, not demonetizing him, as anybody would know. That would be Rumble's stance. Also, Spotify has also decided that they're not going to be taking down his podcast at all. So, I get it if you're a YouTube head. I am too. I watch content constantly on YouTube, but if you're actually looking to support Brand, you got to go to the platforms that actually support them. Could get in trouble for saying that, but it's true. Now we're going to get into this. This clip right here really does lay a lot of this out. I'm going to stop it at about 5 minutes, 50 seconds, but let's get into this. This gentleman's name is Matt Blumenthal, or Blumenthal, but he is editor-in-chief at Gray Zone, and he has actually suffered the exact same type of treatment by YouTube themselves, and Russell Brand actually interviewed him about this exact topic. And Russell Brand was talking about how it seemed like these companies were all colluding to kind of block him out and censor him. Again, that channel's called Gray Zone. You can go and check that out. Let's play this clip.
Suspended, or having its fundraiser suspended due to external concerns by GoFundMe, and the whole way that crowdfunding companies were operating within the broader framework of the censorship industrial complex, where the state goes behind the scenes into the offices of Silicon Valley companies and tells them who to ban, who to remove. And we've experienced that constantly. So one thing is clear about the Russell Brand affair. Whatever the merits of the allegations are, and its trial by media, that he is being targeted because he has become perhaps the most prolific critic of corporate media, and as well as the war state and the Ukraine proxy war on the planet. Maybe he's second to Tucker Carlson, but he's clearly threatening some very powerful interests. And so he is being targeted in a coordinated fashion in the same way that he articulated somewhat ironically when he interviewed me. And it began through tabloid media in the UK. You could look at any newsstand in London the day the allegations hit. It was on the front page of every paper. The editors from The Guardian to The Sun to The Mirror, they were feasting off this with libidinal satisfaction because they wanted to see him destroyed for what he had said about them. He had turned on Hollywood as well. So you saw all these prominent figures denouncing him, and he hadn't yet to receive due process. And as I expected, he was demonetized by YouTube, which is really the ultimate form of cancellation in our culture, because YouTube, which is owned by Google, is essentially the inner vortex of our digital commons, which are privatized yet controlled from the outside by powerful interests, including the Department of Homeland Security, British intelligence, and so on. So this raises a larger issue. What terms did he violate? And YouTube says that he violated their rules for off-platform behavior, that you have to conduct yourself well off the platform. Well, if none of these allegations are confirmed and they haven't been seen through in a court of law, then who is Google and a bunch of anonymous corporate functionaries to determine if someone is guilty of essentially felonies? They possibly committed defamation, and at the same time, they're hosting the George W. Bush Library on their platform. They're hosting the Obama Foundation, which has 235,000 subscribers. Barack Obama.
And now he goes into some very choice words for Barack Obama. But, I mean, and in the spirit of what's going on with Russell Brand, I have to say it myself in a different way. But Barack Obama did unspeakable things, was responsible for unspeakable things that happened in Libya and in other regions of the world. If you want to talk about how you act off the platform, how come that's not taken into consideration? He brings up George W. Bush. I don't even have to go into what that family has been responsible for, and they're fine on there. And then it goes back to exactly what I said about Cardi B, Jay-Z, name any rapper. They all have these pasts where they are confirming in their music that they've lived this life. It was off platform. They are fine. Why are they fine? Is it because none of it's real? But they claim it is real. Cardi B verified that she did do that to those men. She did rob them. Many, many, many men. She would also set men up. She was something called a setup girl. Now, it's basically set up to get robbed, but it's set up by other people, you know? You ever seen the movie Scarface, where there's a lady just laying on the bed, and then she pops up and she's like, "Eh, morte." Yeah? She was like one of those chicks, basically. So it's like, where does it stop? Who decides who's being good off of the platform and who's being bad? Where do we decide? Because Russell Brand just violated that. But who else is violating that? I've never even heard of this happening to anybody else. You know? And then when we really think about it, because YouTube has demonetized him. But this gentleman brought up something good, that these platforms really did take a little bit of joy in having to do this. They attacked really viciously because he's spoken out about them so much and so accurately over and over and over again. Now, I bring that up because the head of YouTube for Europe, Africa, the Middle East is not the same as the one that handles everything that's North America side, right? So that person, now, and this is just speculation, but they probably have more of a connection to those big media outlets in Europe, in the UK, all those places. So for them to make that decision, you know, all I can say is it does seem like a bit of an attack. And this is the worst of it, because right now, if they're taking away his YouTube channel, they're taking away that money. That's a healthy chunk of money. This guy has 6 million subscribers. If he's getting 15 million views a month, which Russell Brand probably does, 10 to 15 million views a month, he's probably making about $60,000 a month on the platform. I would think, just doing the math of what I've seen. He's probably making around that amount of money. Now, he still is making money from Rumble. He still is making money from any advertisers that he's had via Spotify. But his shows have been canceled. Like, things are getting taken away from him. Now, like I said, this is what I wish he did. When I was talking about, like, I was going to talk about what I wish he did, this is what I wish he did. There's a platform, a creator named Destiny. And I remember I was watching a Destiny video, and he had a bit of a cancellation thing going on where they were trying to cancel him for something. But he brought it up, but he didn't go into why. But he just brought up, he's like, you know what I did? He's like, and you know what you should do always? He's like, just keep posting. Just keep on posting. He's like, whatever's said about you, the next day you make a video, and the next day, and the next day, and the next day, and you keep doing it like nothing's going on. You just don't stop. I wish Russell Brand would do that, because the reason this platform or this creator said to do that is because if you stop when whatever allegations come out, that's the last thing people hear about you. That's the last thing people know of you. Just that you made a video, in Russell Brand's case, you made a video saying everything was consensual, but then you didn't make anything after that. You didn't make anything on Rumble, Spotify, YouTube, nothing. So I wish he would just keep making videos, keep exposing the truth, because they want to silence you, obviously. It's very clear, you know, not to play down anybody that went through anything based on this whole, I was going to say case. There's not even a case. There's a documentary. There's claims via a documentary. So I can't even say a case, because there's no case going on. There's no crimes going on. There's no prosecution going on. None of that. But the media is making it seem like there is. So they clearly want to silence you. So the first thing you should do if they want to silence you is be as loud as possible and keep making videos and keep speaking on these outlets. That's what I wish he would do. Definitely. But pray for Russell Brand. And again, you know, it might get me in some trouble, but there's still platforms that are helping him have a livelihood. So you could go there and you could still support him, and he'll still receive revenue, and he'll still be able to make a living. Because right now, that's what they're trying to take away from him. And to see that happen to another creator, especially one that I look up to, you know, it's a sad thing. It was sad when it happened to Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan pushed right through. He did exactly what I'm talking about. He just kept creating. He just kept making videos. Happened to Jordan Peterson. He didn't stop. It's happened to so many different people, and they just don't stop. And if anything like this ever happens to you, don't stop living. That's what they're trying to take away from you. They're trying to damage your life. Don't let them damage your life. Don't let them silence you. If you haven't liked the video already, like the video. If you haven't subscribed already, subscribe. Other than that, I am out.